So I recently top cut a tournament on Limitless Floor Tour. So I'm going to talk about how I did recently getting top 4. So essentially, I want to talk about the team I built and how like some of the matchups went. So this was my team. It's Porygon 2, Alolan Ninetales, Articuno, Wellspring Mask, Ogerpon, Hisuian Arcanine, and Galarian Slowking. So one interesting thing I noticed about Porygon 2 is instead of using Trick Room, you have access to Electroweb, which lowers the speed of both of the opposing Pokemon. So, as you know, if you didn't know, Porygon 2 has 60 base speed, which is the same as Incineroar. So one Electroweb, and you could already outspeed most Incineroar. And you could actually also outspeed Raging Bolts and Archaludons, depending on their speed stat. So you also have access to Alolan Ninetales. And you could just Aurora Veil to make your Porygon 2 even bulkier. Blizzard, Moonblast, Protect, and you also have Articuno. Now, one thing I noticed is everyone's like, oh, Articuno is not going to be good anymore. And, like, after one usage, it was kind of like the meta was just perfect in that condition. Which, yeah, is partly true, but people didn't really adapt after that. Like, there's the people who text Sunny Day on their Tornadus, but that's not really how you counter Articuno. Because of, there is manual snow setters like Tornadus, or in this case, Galarian Slowking. This ability, Chilly Reception, allows you to set up snow and switch out. So you set up snow, you switch out, and you get your Articuno on the field by switching out and setting up snow. This allows you to actually manually set up snow. And with Galarian Slowking's ability, Regenerator, you actually also heal up. So stack that with leftovers, and you also have Heal Pulse, and you can do a lot of healing. Wellspring Mask Ogerpon does regular Wellspring Mask Ogerpon things. And Hisuian Arcanine, just, Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Will-O-Wisp, Extreme Speed, all the stuff. Like, you might be shocked by Will-O-Wisp. It's better than you think. Yeah, this is a Life Orb set. I didn't really want to lock into one move with this team, so I ran Life Orb, which still does a lot of damage with Hisuian Arcanine. You also have Intimidate, which is really nice. So going after that, you could see my matches. So this was X and 2 Top Cut. So in game 1, right? I went up against this Lando I team, and they had a Terra Steel Annihilate, so I did kind of get lucky with some freezes. But that's one of the great things about snow teams is you could kind of just keep fishing for freezes and be completely fine. You also do great damage into it with Ogerpon Wellspring, even though it's a neutral Ivy Cudgel. Porygon 2 came in really good this game. You have access to, like, Ice Beam. You have access to Terra Poison, Terra Blast, which is a great counter to Rillaboom. And what can Flutter Mane do to a Terra Poison Porygon 2? The second game, I went up against a pretty meta team. It's Rapid Strike, all that. So, Porygon 2 really just did what it did. Again, going off of that Electroweb, you could actually outspeed Raging Bolt and Incineroar after one Electroweb, which is really nice, because then you could get some damage off before Incin parting shots you. And then, you just have a bunch of good damage with Blizzards into this team. The next two games I did lose. So, for game 3, I played really badly the first game, but in the second game I did make my redemption. Unfortunately, they played very well. I was going to make the call that probably could have won me that second game, but again, then a third game would have happened. My opponent just played really, really well. Fourth game, I definitely could have won this. It did go to a game 3. My opponent really played well. Round 5, I had a bye. Round 6, my opponent forfeited. Again, this was my first time going to a tournament with this team. Glad I got top 4, and it clearly does do things, right? So in top 4, I once again almost won. Critical hit would have won me the game, but as you know, you would have to get the chance of the critical hit. It could have also been a damage roll that could have done it, but again, my bad for not running Modest Moonblast on my Alolan Ninetales. So it just goes to show that team building, you gotta play better, so you don't have to rely on that luck.